Hey everyone, what's up? It's Neema and Sean. Just wanted to give you a quick case study of a property that we sold on Lexington, 4848 Lexington. Um, we'll go through our scenario and how we help the client move and do a 1031 exchange from the property in our COVID style presentation. This is actually how we run a lot of our meetings today by WebEx or Zoom and just keeping a safe distance. I have Sean Nami with me. He is one of the agents on our team and was a crucial part of helping us sell the property and help the client reach their goals. Sean, I'll just start with you. Let's just dive right into it. Can you tell me a little bit about the seller, how long you kept in touch with them, and what caused the motivation for them?
Yeah, so we've been talking to them since 2014, actually, and then kept in touch over the years. Been providing different bits and pieces of information throughout that time, and essentially, it's in a trust where there's a part of the ownership's in New York, another part of the family's in LA. They've been seeing what's been kind of the political climate in New York and the renters market changing a bit in New York, and they also obviously see it in California too, with the state and local laws just being a little bit more challenging on the landlords. So what they did was, seeing that the market's so strong, wanted to get ahead of that. They wanted to see if they can kind of take advantage of the market, and they reached out to us to see if we could provide a broker's opinion of value on the property. So we did that. They interviewed a number of brokers, a number of firms, and we were fortunate enough to get the exclusive listing.
Sure. Okay, cool. So I'll show you the opinion of value that we put together. It's like a simple example of how we prepare our BOVs. We go through and provide information about the property. We obviously look into the financials, the rent roll. We dive into the NOI. We go through the P&Ls in great detail. We come up with evaluation suggestions, and then we provide sales comparables for the properties. So this is what the BOV looked like. You brought up something interesting that I wanted to mention, though, is that one of the owners lived in New York, and you're right, property values there unfortunately plummeted 25-30% in the last 2 years. So I think that caused some motivation, including his sibling who had a death, which created a step up in basis for their 50% ownership. And one thing that was crucial is that we actually helped the seller engage an attorney to understand how to prepare so that he won't have a tax liability for when the property is being sold. Because one of the partners wanted to take their portion and just take the cash and use it how they choose. And the other party did a 1031 exchange into some medical office buildings in Texas, I believe. So another part, Sean, that you brought up that I wanted to touch on is that the ownership did have, I think, 3 to 4 different brokers give BOVs. And we were the most accurate in our pricing. We were the lowest. And one thing that was interesting about the scenario is that they went with us, although we were not the highest price. And I think through our process of us educating them on how we achieve the value, how much of the market share we cover, and why we suggested that value, they saw that the other agents were really just fishing to get their attention and throwing out a high price of something that would not be sellable in today's market. And they appreciated the transparency, and ultimately they allowed us to market the property for them. Can you touch a little bit about our marketing process, how you ran tours during COVID, and the feedback the market was providing?
Yeah, I think what was interesting about this specific transaction, where we were going into the marketplace when we took the property to market, there were some challenging aspects to it, right? Where we had COVID going out of control, we had some vacancies, the holidays were around the corner, and the elections were literally right around the corner as well. So it was a unique time, but that really allowed us to just go back to our approach and our process, which is really just a marketing plan. And it worked out great. Essentially, we wanted to make sure that the right set of eyes were, with all the craziness going on, we're still looking at the deal. And we generated actually about 14 or 15 tours. 8 of them came back with offers. And from there, I mean, we really wanted to make sure that the buyer was the right buyer and provide more information to the client. So we vet each buyer, where we go through an interview process and, ask different questions about how you're obtaining financing, who's your loan broker, can we talk to your loan broker? So those type of things allowed us to go back to the seller and just give him extra information to ensure that he's getting the right buyer at the table. And the buyer knew that there were other buyers behind him. He performed, which was great. There was 0 credit in escrow. There's no retrading. And overall, it just worked out great.
Awesome. I found it helpful that this is our 14-point marketing plan that we execute on every listing. We tailor it to each property specifically. And this is the marketing package we put together for the ownership. And what I found awesome was that we did run a handful of tours during COVID safely, and that helped us really sell the property for the best value and showed the buyers the amount of work and care the ownership put in the property, rather than just like, hey, drive by the building. We still ran tours. I mean, it helped that we had vacancies, but that's ultimately what was our ability to drive value, even in a time where, it's hard to run tours, but on most assets, we still do it. And even on the appraisal and the inspection, we got into enough units for the buyer, the inspector, and the lender to get comfortable. So I think it was a great case study. It showed us a few things of our process, how we're able to protect the seller, them seeing what happened in New York, and creating some motivation because they feel California is on the same path, and them exchanging into a higher cash flow medical office building in Texas that they had an eye on for a while. And is there anything else, Sean, that you'd like to touch about the process or what the seller had experienced?
I think you hit on the head. It's just a good example where in a market like this, the kind of the proven process and our approach is really what's key to just generate the right amount of activity on a specific transaction where there is dialogue with buyers. You're really making sure that those buyers at the table are real and they're not really spinning your wheels or wasting time, because we all know that you can go into escrow once and it can just kind of go haywire from there and just really kill time. So you don't want that. I think this was a great example of that, and fortunately it worked out great for all parties.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions about this or our process, please let us know and reach out to Sean and I directly. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.